What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom 2. Because it was a unique situation, what we're going to do is kind of change things up a bit. Of course, right now, we're doing the live stream version with Yesamen Woodland right now. And then later, I've got a pre-recorded version of episode 13. But before we get to 13, we've got to get through 12. And Yesamen, you've been on my channel before, but it's been a long while. So do you mind reintroducing yourself to some of the viewers?
Yes, it has been such a long time. So if you all don't know me, I'm also a YouTuber. I talk about teen mom news. I talk about TV shows and pretty much the same thing that Grace does. And I was with Grace like a few months ago and we did a recap and we had so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to the stream.
Yes, Yesamen came highly requested for like another round. So I'm really, really excited. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, you're welcome. I love it. I love it. Hey, everybody in the chat.
Hey, guys. So let's jump into it. So episode 12 started off with Kailyn going out to lunch with her nanny, and she was really upset about like coronavirus potentially throwing a wrench into her like baby moon plans. How did you feel about her disposition there? Like, was she a little bit, what's the word? Entitled, arrogant, like oblivious? What was it?
Personally, to me, like, I try to stay neutral, but I don't know, it's Kailyn. It did come off a little entitled, like, I want to take this lavish vacation before like this pandemic and I'm going to go regardless. I think she even mentioned like, I'll get a boat or something like that if that means that I'll go on this vacation. And I think she was pregnant at the time. So it's like, oh my gosh, safety first, Kailyn. Like, what are you even thinking of? Like, that's crazy. So I don't know. Like, I just saw that and I thought as long as they stay safe, because it's really crazy out here.
That's what I thought as well. Like, she said some pretty like inflammatory things. She goes, I'm going to sue everybody if I can't go, which I felt like was probably a joke, but like a bad joke. It's like, sis, there are people that are dying, and this is something where pregnant women and then infants are really, really at risk of. So why is this even on your mind to go? Why are you acting like everyone is like making a big deal out of it when it's very serious and you should be trying to protect yourself and your baby first and foremost, right?
Exactly. And that was like crazy. I think that's like a trend with her, because even when she was pregnant with Lux, like pre-pandemic, she went to Hawaii and it was like a big deal because she actually had preeclampsia, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, why are you traveling like while you're pregnant? Just stay home, Kailyn. Like, it's not hard to, stay home, relax. You have plenty to do, plenty of kids. So yeah.
Right. And it wasn't even just that Zika virus. And I touch on this on my episode 13 recap. Zika virus was going around and like pregnant women who were bitten by the mosquitoes at the time were giving birth to babies where like their heads were like misshapen, deformed or whatever as a result of this. And she still went, right? So it's like she's a little oblivious when it comes to health typically. Meanwhile, in South Dakota, Chelsea is super anxious about the virus. So she kind of, talks to Aubrey about it. She's like, how do you feel about it? I'm getting all these cleaning supplies, blah, blah, blah. But now knowing that she decides to get pregnant like a week later, I'm kind of like, what is with Chelsea's anxiety? Because here you are super anxious about this pandemic. Then you turn around and get pregnant a week later, you plan to, and then you're super anxious about a break-in. And then what do? You give us literal blueprints of your new house that you're building so we know where all the exits are when we try to, rob you. Then you give us drone footage so we can see it from above to really plan our robbery. Then not even just that. Now, what is she doing? She's literally itemizing every last item in her house. She's like, look at this rug. It costs this much dollars. Use my code, blah, blah, blah. It's like, thank you. I need to know how much I'm going to sell this for on the black market once I swipe it out from under you. So like, what's the deal with her anxiety?
As a veteran of the Air Force, I know what anxiety is and I know what PTSD is. So it's just crazy that she says she has anxiety, but then she's literally exposing things like her house again and stuff like that, which is going to create more of an anxiety. So I feel like she's like contradictory to me personally. Like, even when she was having like her anxiety prior to the break-in, she said it was because she's like a full-time mom. She's so busy. But then, like you said, she gets pregnant again. And it's just like, okay, like, you have to help yourself at the end of the day. Like, I feel like when it comes to Chelsea, I have so many different opinions on her. Like, people love her, so I try to like tread lightly, but I just think with her and Cole, it's just something there that's just not adding up. Because I don't know why they would do the drone footage, and I mean, why would you do that if you just had a break-in? Like, that's serious. It's just, I don't know. She just seems like, again, contradictory. She doesn't really make sense a lot of times. So I don't know. I have to question that for real.
It drives me nuts. By the way, Jen asked a little bit earlier. She's like, I'm lost. Girl, I was lost too. They dropped 2 episodes of this show last night, and I just caught this one. That's why it's live, because I am catching it late. They finally put it up online. The episode you probably watched last night is number 13, which I did pre-record, and we're going to get into right after this one. So it's been a month since the twins had seen their dad, because, everyone didn't know what to do. It's like, just shelter in place. Then, all the split households can figure out that stuff later. But for right now, we don't know what's going on. Stay home. And then Corey and Leah work out an arrangement for him to spend the weekend at Corey's house. Then in Indiana, Jade's salon gets shut down, so she has to call to refund all of her clients. Then we move back down to Florida, where Lewis got laid off from his construction job, so he went back to trucking. Remember, he gave Briana the initial money that she was asking for, but he hasn't really been able to since. Then Devon was never able to, just because of everything going on. But Devon has been like hanging around the kids and stuff like that. Like, what do you think about that?
I think with the entire Devon situation, I think it goes way back. It goes years ago. And I feel like no matter how hard Devon tries, I think she's going to naturally just resent Devon forever, because he is like literally the first person that broke her heart. So in regards to Lewis, like, he just seems like an airhead to me. Like, I don't know. He just like seems like Briana like treats him differently than Devon. I think people see that. But in regards to, being laid off and the money, the kids, I mean, if they got laid off, then they afford it, then okay. But I mean, it's crazy because they weren't really paying for their kids anyway. But Devon seemed like he was always there, even for Stella. Like, he would bring her gifts and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of drama going between Devon and Briana. Like, it's a lot of drama.
It's constant. And what kind of stuck out to me in this episode is that, like, they're all sheltering in place. Briana's mom is at risk because she's, a little older, and she's got lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. So why exactly was this girl talking about, I see my man, who's allegedly married, out on the front porch after I put my kids to sleep at night? What's wrong with this girl? What are you doing? Why would you expose your mom to something that could potentially kill her for this? Like, what?
It's all for the eggplant. It's all for the eggplant. It's all for the eggplant, Grace. We all know how Briana is. She likes to have her eggplants. She likes to have her different variations. So it's just, I think she's putting herself first, and that's not good. She needs to prioritize her kids and her family's health, since they all somehow still live with her. So I don't know. That's like irresponsible.
100%, especially when later Brittany gets tested for COVID. They go, oh, she has it. Then she's going to have to stay out of the house because it's at risk for my mom. Meanwhile, this man on your porch needs to stay at his wife's house because he's going to put your mom at risk too. Tanisha saying Briana claims he wasn't married. She can claim what she wants, but what she did was get up on TV and say this man is not fully available. Her friend Shirley said, if you don't do it, the next woman will, which is like the side chick slogan. And then Briana said, that's awful, but it's true. So in my opinion, based on everything they put out there themselves, that man was 100,000% married. And I believe this, it's not this Javi guy that she's currently seeing. And I believe that his wife actually even came forward and talked about this, before all of this aired. It was quite a little bit ago. And Andrea, thank you so much for this super chat. She says, you two are so beautiful and inspirational. Oh my God. What advice would you give for starting a new channel? I really want to start one, but I have no idea where to start as far as equipment. By the way, you guys are so pretty. Hashtag hate you both. What would you say as advice, Yesamen, real quick?
Thank you, Andrea, for the beautiful words, first of all. And I just want to say it's confidence first. It's confidence, it's dedication first. And you just have to also just roll with the punches, have fun with it. Don't be in it for the wrong reasons, but be in it because you just want to actually be creative and be in that creative space. And with me, I was on YouTube for a month, and then I had, a lot of viewers. So it just varies. You just stay diligent. I can see, you know, potential in equipment. A lot of the kids need a cell phone, a laptop. There's not even anything that's too crazy. So
exactly. I'm like, just start where you are with what you have. Like, even if it's just your iPhone, that's perfect. They even have little microphones, even just your headphones. Sometimes I use those for live streams. Whatever it is, just start and love what you do. Guys, so Kailyn next films her talking to the kids, breaking the news that they're not going to be able to go to the Bahamas for vacation. I want to know, did anyone else catch in the background the nanny's kid rustling around there? Did you catch it, Yesamen?
I think I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what is going on here? Like I was confused and I didn't really know. So what was even going on with that?
Oh, yeah. She likes to claim she doesn't have a nanny, but like the rumors have been going around for a while that this is a live-in nanny who moved in with her son, who's like, 14 years old or something like that. And we saw him last night rustling around in the background. Because listen, they were all shelter in place. So if someone is in your house, even the production crew wasn't there. If someone's in your house, they live there. So boom.
I literally had no idea. I thought that was just like a friend, but I'm like, yeah, we are seeing them a little too often. But why would she deny having like a live-in nanny or au pair? Like, it's whatever, just own it, you know, like it's crazy.
Exactly, man. So she does also, by the way, you guys, backtrack on those comments she was making about how like everyone's making a big deal of it, I'm suing everyone. She's like, I didn't realize the gravity of this situation, so I am just going to, you know, backtrack right here, which I'm like, you know what, it's fair enough. None of us really understood the gravity of it, so you know, it kind of is what it is. And then Leah then kind of releases her book, which was great, and it becomes the #1 new release on Amazon. Then we go back to South Dakota, where Chelsea starts feeling sick with a stomach bug. So her doctor tells her to get a COVID test. What did you think about this? I'm like, stomach bug, COVID test? Why'd she tell her to go there?
Yeah, that I definitely thought that was also like kind of weird, but to be honest, like with this entire like pandemic and like the filming of this, I feel like they're just using this as a stretch, or they're using this as like a storyline. Like I don't like, even with Briana's sister, she was like coughing profusely, and I just feel like it just adds to the drama. And I think some of it is just, it's not even real. Like I think they're doing it just to, you know, show insight for the fans. But I don't, you know, with Chelsea getting a stomach bug and being like so like anxiety ridden over it, I just thought it was kind of like ridiculous. I don't know, like just with her, I have a lot of negative stuff to say, so maybe I'm just being biased at this point.
You know, I really also felt like, you know, we're all sheltering in place anyway, and there's no cure for this. So if you believe that you have it and you're not like on your deathbed, personally, why go? Why not just stay home? All of you guys just stay home, order in your groceries, stay for 2 weeks like you're already supposed to do. What's the point of getting tested? They can't do anything for you at that point. Like, sure, if you have to leave to do this, to do that, go for it. But if you're just staying home anyway, which they're all doing, cold no longer works, just stay home, order in your groceries, 2 weeks, that's it, and go back to normal life. I didn't really love like the whole like, okay, this is my immediate first thing to do, but maybe I'm a little bit off in that respect. I don't know.
Yeah, with no vaccine, you know, even prevalent right now, all they're just send you home and tell you like, hey, make sure you drink a lot of fluids, get a lot of bed rest, make sure you eat properly. And I just think, yeah, it's just safer just to really stay home now. Like even with the holiday coming up, even, you know, off topic, but even with Thanksgiving, a lot of people shouldn't really be having large gatherings. So yeah, just definitely stay at home, quarantine, do what you need to do to get back, you know, healthy and on your feet, especially as a mother.
Exactly. Absolutely. Then going back over to Florida, Devon comes over to Briana's house to spend time with the kids, which is nice. But she then talks about how she put all of her money into this house. Like, remember, she bought it like outright. So she's got like no money, no savings, nothing. And I was kind of like, at that point, should you have really paid 100% of your house off? Why not pay like 80% down or 90% down and then still have a little bit of a nest egg, right? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're house poor, Brie.
Definitely. When I read that, I think her house was like a little over $200,000 for it to be like built. And she said, I have no money left. And that's why she sat down Devon and Lewis to try to create like a plan for the kids and like a financial plan. And she was just saying like she works 3 jobs and she got laid off and there's like no money left. But I'm confused because didn't her and her boo thing go to what, Mexico, or they went on a trip or something
Puerto
like
Rico, girl. Yes, she went to Puerto Rico.
that?
She went
Wow. I would love to be broke and go to Puerto Rico. That's a good type of broke.
exactly. Then she went to put the lashes in and everything. So you really never know what it is with these girls. And actually, speaking of going broke, in Indiana, Jade talks about how, like, you know, she's quickly burning through money now that she's not able to work. And so she's actually living off of savings in order to support the family. And Sean just sits there like the bum that he is. I'm sorry, but like he's just like, oh yeah, like that's crazy. And then she complains about how she still has to pay rent for a place where she still has all her equipment. And it's like, I don't know what people like. Do people think that landlords don't pay mortgages? Like, of course you still have to pay rent. The landlord still has to pay the freaking mortgage. And then what is Sean doing over there? He never does anything, never contributes to anything. He's not even like a proper stay-at-home dad, because like earlier you see Jade playing with the kid. He's playing video games all the damn time. I can't with him.
Yeah, with Sean and even her mother, I just think personally, I know Jade enables their behavior in some sense because she's trying to keep Sean around, obviously, for Chloe. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to support yourself. Even if it's like a work at home job right now, you need to be able to contribute something. And to have like a grown man living in your house, like not even helping you with the kid that he created with you, that's the problem. You're not going to be living with me. So I definitely understand that concept. And then what example is he even setting for Chloe? He doesn't, you know, with him not even seeking employment, even pre-pandemic, he's like still like a bum. And I'm like, what is it with these guys, Lewis and everybody else, like just like working? Like it's not good. It's not good, really.
It is so weird. I don't know how these girls can be attracted to men like that. Like for me, it's like, I don't know you. No.
Even with Ashley and Barr, allegedly they're engaged, but even with Barr, like what, at first he wasn't really working and stuff. He was like living with Ashley. And I'm like, what is this? Is this like the new day and age? Is this how we date now? And like, I want no parts of it if that's the case.
Exactly. Staying single all the way. Taking Chelsea. Oh my God. I have no clue. I really have no clue about why she left. I know I was reading that it was already kind of like in the works for a while, but you know, I think Chelsea also realized herself that Cole's mask was slipping, because you do see her in those episodes where he's like overstepping the bounds quite a bit. Like she's the one telling him like, okay, honey, drop it. Like, let's move on. So I feel like she already knew before it was out there that this would happen. And so I think that it was probably just like a decision based off that before I ever said anything about it. And then real quick on the topic of Jade and Sean, when she talks about how, oh, I'm a business owner, so me having no income, I've got nothing to fall back on. I can't fall back on like unemployment or whatever if like I get shut down all the way. I was like, Jade, you were on MTV making what? Like, I don't know, at least $70,000, $80,000 off this. It's a little bit better than what, like the $30,000, $40,000 that unemployment pays people. Like, why are you acting like you're some kind of kingpin? Like, what?
I don't understand it. Like, and you know, I'm starting to see a trend with these teen moms. A lot of them are in financial hardship, or they owe tons of taxes, or they owe back rent. And it's like, with all the money that they're making, you would think that they were able to invest, they were able to have permanent living situations and not have mortgages. And you would think that they would have done right by their funds. But I just feel like either they're ignorant to how to budget their money, or they don't really care. They're just kind of recklessly spending it. So I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, she get paid from MTV? Like, what does she mean? Maybe it's something we don't know. I don't know.
She was just trying to make herself seem a lot more financially free of MTV than she is. It's like, no, girl, you've got MTV to fall back on. If your salon never opens, just look at the other girls. Like, they're not really doing anything, you know, they've just got MTV. So we know you make money at this point. Like, don't insult our intelligence.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, in West Virginia, Leah talks about how she lied about her miscarriage. Remember, about 8 years ago, she claimed that she had a miscarriage. It turned out that was an actual abortion. And then when she talks to her producer about it, it seemed as though she went forward with having an abortion because she was still not sure if she wanted to be with Corey or she wanted to be with Jeremy. What do you think of that?
Let me tread lightly once again, because I know this is a sensitive topic, and I'm not saying she's right or wrong for choosing to, abort her child. I just feel at the time it may seem deceptive to the fans that she wasn't upfront. And it, with it being a teen mother show, I think it's not really setting a good to like lie about stuff like that. I feel like it just either stayed forever, or when she did release that in her memoir, I'm like, I don't know, like, is that setting a good example for other teenagers to where maybe they feel like, hey, do I need to secretly abort my child and then say that I lost it through a miscarriage? Like, maybe that's not really such a good thing,
Yeah, I just kind of felt like, oh my God, she was so young to be using babies in this respect. You know what I mean? She's like, okay, I'm going to get pregnant by Jeremy. It'll help me move on from Corey. Then she realizes she's still in love with Corey. So I'm going to abort this pregnancy, try to get with Corey. Wait, Corey doesn't want me. I'm going to run back to Jeremy, immediately get pregnant and marry. It was just, it's crazy how these people always think about having babies. It's like, you can't just have a relationship for a couple years, feel the person out a little bit, see if you're compatible. Like, what?
They think babies is going to like fix things, or they think the baby is going to help the guy like commit and marry them. And that's definitely not the case. Like, they're using the baby as like some sort of weapon or some sort of tool to keep, I don't know, like going back and forth or playing tug of war. Like, they had like this sick love triangle, like the three of them. And I'm just like, yeah, like, I don't know, with her memoir, like she said it was therapeutic for her. So I'm happy that she's able to, talk about it. But I definitely feel like some of the fans were disappointed to find out that she did, lie about that, because they sympathize with her. Like, hey, oh my goodness, she lost a child. Like, that's horrible. And then to find out, oh no, well, she just kind of got rid of it. Maybe some people are just disheartened,
Exactly. I imagine so many people opened up about their own pain with miscarriages to her. So like, imagine if that's something that you did, thinking that you're connecting with someone on that level, just to find out, psych, I wanted to get with this guy, my bad. And then like to know that Kail was pulling the same thing a little bit earlier in the season, like 2 episodes past, she was talking about telling half the people she had an abortion, the other half she had a miscarriage. It's kind of like, why don't you guys just behave a little bit more responsibly so you're not put into these situations?
Definitely. And just like one of the viewers just said, in regards to Kail, I feel like she was doing, like you said, the same thing with like the baby she has now with Creed. Like, should I keep it? Should I not? Should I keep it? Should I not? And I think she kind of got pregnant by Chris on purpose, just to try to get back together with him. But that's another story with her.
Oh, 100%. I don't believe it was an accident. By the way, Nikki, your question earlier, yeah, they aired 2 episodes. So we're recapping the first one of the one that they that they aired. So what happened next, you guys? She talks about how her PR rep was the one who told her to have this abortion pill before she hit 8 weeks. I was kind of like, what kind of professional would tell this young, what was she at the time, like 19-year-old, to do something like that she doesn't even fully understand? I felt like that was so unethical on so many levels.
Definitely. I saw that part, and she was just like, what you pretty much said is like, oh, just take this pill and, you'll be fine. And one of the reps told me, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, who's this person? Like, I wonder why she didn't out that person, but probably she didn't want that person to get backlash. And she was young at the time. She was like 18, 19 years old. So when you are that young and you're listening to other people and you think that it's good advice and you follow through with it, and you realize later, like, oh my goodness, like, I was like either taken advantage of or I was naive or gullible. Like, we can relate to that at some point, like feeling like, oh my goodness, why did I make that decision just because someone told me? So I definitely feel like Leah just did not have enough people in her circle to advocate for her, when she was younger.
Exactly. I think it's 100% that, because her mom was really gung-ho about it as well. And we all know how responsible her mom is, you guys. So by the way, real quick, she didn't tell Jeremy about the reality of it being an abortion until they were divorcing, a couple of years down the line. Now, on the topic of these girls being incredibly financially irresponsible, why the hell did Jade get a damn puppy? She was just crying about using her savings because she's got no more like, cash on hand the other season. So why did she get a damn puppy?
A lot of it, once again, I feel like these girls contradict themselves, because if you certainly like can't afford like your studio, your equipment, and your bills, it's not really responsible to go get a puppy. Like, it's like, I think she did it for Chloe though, just for Chloe to have like a little companion during the pandemic, or a lot of them were just doing it out of probably boredom, just want something. But yeah, I don't know why she got a puppy, because that's more like, that's added responsibility. And then you already have Sean, who doesn't even help you. So it's just like, that's more responsibility on her. So yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Grace. I don't know why she did that. But the puppy was cute though, nonetheless.
It looked like it was a husky though. I'm like, that's going to grow up to be like a really big dog. So I don't know if that was like the smart decision at the end of the day. It was a little bit of a mess. So back to Leah again. She goes over to Jeremy's house to talk about her book. He didn't want to talk about these things publicly, and he let Leah know that he was not comfortable. But Leah is just, this season, she really wants to be the next like Wayne Dyer, Anthony Robbins. I don't know what it is, but she keeps trying to like force people into having these like motivational talks. You know what I mean? And like, he's telling her, listen, I don't want to talk about this. And she's like, I'm ready. I want my truth. It's like, all right, good for you. But he has his half of the truth and he's not ready to discuss it. So why does she keep trying to railroad it? And then when he would open up about certain things, like the way he felt, she would cut him off and then gaslight him on his experiences. So it's like, do you want him to open up or do you not? Right?
I definitely agree with you. I feel like it's more so for the cameras, is more so MTV production, having content to talk about, having something to kind of drag on once again. Because as we all know, they love to drag on stories for years and years and years, like the same storyline. So I feel like with Leah, she's just like, if this is a real feeling, like, I just want to get my truth out, maybe she should like be more respectful. Because I feel like when she's talking to Jeremy, he's like, listen, I'm not really there yet emotionally to talk about this stuff. Like, where is this coming from? And it's not really respecting how he feels. So yeah. And then she was cutting him off, not letting him talk. I'm like, what is going on here, Leah? Like, is this for TV and book sales? Or is this like, because you sincerely want therapy? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it felt 1,000% performative because, especially when he talked about how the marriage ultimately ended for him when she cheated on him, that's when she really cut him off. I was like, well, you obviously are not here to genuinely talk with this man. You just want your narrative out there, like a nice sanitized version of your marriage. But, and then he also complained about how she manipulated the world into thinking that the reason that he left her was because she had anxiety and depression, which we later found out were her code words for an addiction problem, and then she kind of like quickly brushes that under the rug and then just keeps railroading the conversation. It's like, well, you guys can't really get anywhere if you're not genuinely open to listening to him.
Definitely. She needs to be a lot honest, just like Nikki just said. She's hustling at this point, and I definitely feel like she is just using this narrative I think she has an underlying motive. I think she's definitely trying to promote her book, because even, in the clip, they were stating that she wasn't, allowed to do like not tours, but like book signings because of the pandemic. So I think she's just trying to do any and everything to try to reach the audience, get more, book sales. And I'm not trying to negate her experiences, but with Jeremy, I definitely didn't feel like he was like seeing eye to eye with her. I don't feel like he wanted to open up about that stuff yet. But then at the same time, Jeremy seemed standoffish anyways, for some reason.
He's always been that way, but then like when you put yourself in his shoes, it's like, listen, I was in love with this woman and then come to find out she was playing me this entire time. I found out when I was getting divorced, not even like, before any of that, before we even had our daughter with her after everything, that she was lying to me this entire time. She wanted to get back with this other guy. And then she settled for me. Of course, he doesn't want to like be all open about that. I can't believe that she didn't understand that. Another really interesting thing that I completely forgot to point out was that she blamed her infidelity on the pain medication she was taking. What was that? Do you remember that? Like what?
I do remember that. And I don't know. It's kind of like when people say, "Oh my goodness, I was drunk." It was one time I was drunk. It's like, it doesn't negate your actions, though. It doesn't negate the hurt. It doesn't negate the pain. It doesn't negate the fact that now we have to sit our kids down and let them know what's going on. Like, it just creates problems. So even if the addiction was a part of the reason, I don't think it was the sole reason. Like, I feel like she has to take accountability at some point.
Well, exactly, you know, and especially because she did this in her first marriage too. She cheated on Corey, like at the bachelorette party, didn't she? It's who she is, in my opinion. So like for her to be like, oh, it's the pain medication, like, no, ibuprofen does not say might cause infidelity or whatever it was that she was on. I've never seen pain medication saying anything of the sort, you guys, right?
Definitely. Just like Lizzie just said, didn't she cheat on him like before the wedding? That's so true. You just mentioned that. So I think there's like a pattern here with her. Like there's like a pattern of cheating, or maybe she was just truly torn between the two men. But I definitely feel like, you know, the medication wasn't the like the sole reason as to why she was, you know, cheating. I think she wanted it. You know, she cheated on, you know, Corey with her ex.
Yeah, it was all Robbie. I was just reading Pretty Jackson's comment. Yeah, it was all with the same guy. So it's a very obvious attachment that she's always had to that guy. And to Jaleesa, I'm 99% sure that when she cheated on Corey, it was the night before the wedding. I don't know if it was the bachelorette party or whatever then, but it was like the night before the wedding. I remember her saying in the scene when she kind of like fessed up to it. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just crazy. It's nuts with these teen mom girls. And I try to tune in as much as I can, but I'm not going to lie. This is off topic, but I kind of miss the Farrah Janelle show. Like they brought all the juicy drama they brought. You know, I do miss them, but this Teen Mom season has definitely been crazy for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Farrah was definitely a one-of-a-kind gem. And then Janelle pre-David having to shut down production was really good too. But like when I rolled around and everything had to, Stephanie's agreeing with you. She's like, bring them back.
For sure. Yeah. Like I think with like, I don't know. I think it'll never happen. But yeah, definitely before David, pre-David with Janelle and all that drama, it was really crazy. And then Farrah as well. Like Farrah brought in, I think like over 1 million, 2 million views, like in the opening night of like one of the seasons. So she was highly viewed, but you know, nonetheless, with the other girls right now with Leah and Kale, I just think they all need to just chill out and calm down because they're doing a little bit too much right now, especially Briana. Like, what are you doing with a married man? Like, what is going on?
Bragging about it on TV is just so like repulsive at the end of the day. And then the stuff with Devon. So Devon leaks a bunch of stuff in his Instagram stories yesterday. I'm going to be covering that tomorrow just because I got these two videos, this live that you guys are watching. And then right after this, I'm going to post up the recap of the next episode for you guys to watch. But yeah, like it's just, you see like behind the scenes and stuff, she seems to be a really manipulative person. Kelly is like, is he really married? It's not the Javi guy that she's currently with now, but the guy that she was talking about on the show, 99.9% sure he was married, and his alleged wife also came forward and talked about Briana and everything like that. So she is a little trifling, you guys. Tread lightly with her.
Yeah, Briana definitely has her taste in men, you know. So I think with, you know, that situation, she just needs to be careful. Because didn't she like have a sexually transmitted like disease before? Like she needs to be like careful, just be safer. Use a condom.
You know what? Those are foreign in teen mom world. None of these women seem to look at Kale. You know what I mean? Like none of these women seem to understand how that works. But,
not at all.
This has been a recap of what went down on the 12th episode of Teen Mom 2. As usual, you guys, it's been so nice to share this with you. And of course, with Yesamen as well. I left her the link to her channel down below if you guys want to go ahead and subscribe to her. She also does cover Teen Mom. She covers other celebrity news, motivational things like personal growth, self-development, everything. So please definitely make sure to check out her channel. And then in the next like 30 minutes or so, I'm going to pop up with my recap of the 13th episode that aired right after this one. And it is pre-recorded in the usual kind of fashion. But thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you so much, Yesamen, for being here as well. It's been amazing as usual.
Yes, I had so much fun. We have to do this again. It goes by so quick, like once you get on camera. And I definitely will be recapping or actually going over that drama between Briana and Devon, like that Instagram drama. So definitely make sure you check out my channel to make sure you check out those videos. And thank you all so much. Thank you, Grace, for having me. I had a great time.
Of course. Everyone, I hope you have a really great day. Thank you so much for joining us.